Some of the greatest minds of our time often pose this same question. What truth do you know for certain that very few others would agree with? I believe that our greatest potential as human beings lies in our deepest insecurities. And I believe this because every insecurity I have, I can trace it back to a moment in time when it was simply a dream that I let myself believe I was incapable of achieving. When I was 13 years old, my love for singing and songwriting was sparked, but I was in an environment that made me feel like I wasn't good enough. So as a result, I never had the courage to sing in front of anyone, not even my own mother. And everything shifted about 2 years ago at the Global Youth Peace Summit, and I realized that everything I was creating was from my heart and for my heart. Therefore, it didn't really matter what anyone else thought of my voice. The moment I acknowledged this, the moment I realized it was in the moments that I reclaimed my vulnerabilities that I was the most empowered, everything shifted. Within a year, I was featured on MC Yogi's chart-topping album and touring across the country with some incredible musicians singing on stage in front of thousands of people with the band Soja. So, please take a moment. Identify a time when the worth and value of a dream you had was questioned, when you felt helpless and alone. How did this really make you feel? And can you trace this feeling back just a little bit further to when you felt excited and empowered about that dream? What shifted? Was it a person, a relationship, a cultural context? We as human beings hold potential so vast, the only limit to our creation is that we impose on ourselves. But where do we get the idea to restrict our potential in the first place? You may associate this feeling with a person or a missed opportunity or a relationship, but have you ever considered that maybe mainstream media is the root cause of this vulnerability? See, as I was tracing back each of my own insecurities, I realized that the culture around me was heavily defining for myself what it meant to feel beautiful, what it meant to be attractive, what it meant to be talented. And in a time submersed in rapid consumerism, where nearly everything you see is a marketing ploy trying to convince you of the latest and greatest to make you appealing in a consumer-driven culture, every magazine cover, YouTube video, Instagram photo, Facebook post makes you want to be a little more attractive, a little prettier, a little more successful. And we're taught that the easiest way to accomplish all of these things is to follow the lead of cultural platforms that get to dictate for us what it means to be beautiful, what it means to be talented, what it means to be attractive and successful in the world. So as a result, we're consumed in trends revolving around how much space there is between our thighs, how muscular our biceps are, how many app downloads you got, how many blog views you had last month, how many likes you've gotten on Instagram since you last checked your phone 5 minutes ago. So, and I'm guilty of this too. I haven't touched my phone in an hour and it's killing me. So I realized that in this endless stream of more, is there any space left for things that truly matter? I mean, as a 17-year-old girl, when I walk up to a newsstand, if I'm interested in more than just flat abs, beauty tips, and prom dresses, there's literally no selection. And the same kind of goes for young men. I mean, you're taught that you need to be more successful and more attractive because women only want muscular, successful men, and men only want supermodels with a nice smile. I mean, these are the things we're taught. So if media can affect the way that we define for ourselves self-worth and love, don't you think it's possible that media can affect the way we go after our dreams? I mean, if you're told that your potential as a human being is limited to the social construct of what it means to be attractive on the cover of a magazine, how much does this actually affect us? How deeply are these seeds of insecurity planted within us as a result of the culture we live in? As a result of industries that profit millions of dollars by consciously dictating the narrative of what goes through our heads when we look in a mirror. So it was sort of out of this sense of what's going on here that I realized I wanted to do something. But first, I'd like you to try and identify something about yourself that's been defined as a result of the culture you live in. You may hold judgment about your body, your grades, your accomplishments. And how long has that been affecting the way you show up in the world? And more importantly, can you redefine your truth according to what lies in your heart? See, in the time we've spent consumed with One Direction and spring fashion and Kim Kardashian, the world around us is dying. Women, men, and children are still traded into slavery. The lungs of this planet are being chopped down, precious resources being drilled from out beneath our feet. A new species goes extinct every 14 days. Why are we not talking about this? Why are we not talking about the fact that women are still having to fight to dictate the rights of their own bodies? That children as young as 8 years old are forced to the front lines of war carrying assault rifles? That major organizations dedicated to human rights lose millions of dollars in overhead costs while people continue to suffer? These issues are not addressed on the same platforms that capitalize off of implanting insecurities in our consciousness. You're not going to hear about the fact that 1/3 of the world's population of gorillas and chimpanzees have died from Ebola on the same platform that gives you weekly updates on the latest Kanye West incident. Those two worlds could not be further apart. Yet, media is still such an integral part of our daily lives. When I wake up, before my eyes have even opened, I'm reaching for my phone. How many likes have I gotten on Instagram since I posted my photo last night? I walk to the bathroom, I sit on the toilet, I pick up a magazine. All of this has happened before I've even brushed my teeth. Every moment of every day is consumed with some form of media stimulation. So, where do we go from here? If you really want to see true issues that we're facing as a planet, as a species, addressed, what platform do you turn to where you don't have to question legitimacy or accuracy of those issues? You don't have to question legitimacy or accuracy of the people that you trust. So I think that the most effective way to address these issues that have deserved our attention long before now is to utilize the voices we already trust. So it was out of this that I felt inspired to do something, but I was still sort of struck with this sense of, how can I make a difference as one person? I'm pretty sure that everyone in this room has experienced that form of helplessness. What can I do as just one person? I am so small and the world is so big. Just by a show of hands, who here has experienced that? And that's really what makes us all the same in a sense, is we're all so afraid to really go out in the world and make our mark because we don't know how we're going to make an impact. And I think that that's a really interesting sort of fact that ties us all together. So I realized that my sense of helplessness was rooted in a lack of narrative for the planet and its inhabitants. So this inspired me to launch a national youth culture magazine, Real. Raw topics, everyday issues, amazing voices, leaders for change. Big names spearheading even bigger issues to engage an audience of millennials who might not otherwise be exposed. I love People magazine as much as the next person, which is why I realized it's essential to utilize the culture we already identify with in order to create a new one. So from Alicia Keys to Jason Mraz to Richard Branson, successful entrepreneurs in tech, actors, musicians, researchers, developers, outstanding organizations, individuals, it's time we start talking about things that matter. So while it may look like your normal teen magazine from the outside, when you look a little closer, you see taglines like ending the fossil fuel addiction, HIV and AIDS, meditation for stress relief, Ocean Conservancy. Same packaging, but different content. Because if I'm being completely honest, my greatest fear is that at the end of the day, I'm not making a difference in the world. So here's my plan. Create a seat at the table in mainstream media for issues that matter, opening up the dialogue to allow you to define for yourself what it means to be a powerful agent of change, taking the focus off of how you can be better and instead how you can make the world better. But how can you be expected to love the world around you if you don't first love yourself? I believe the most effective way to do this is to reclaim our insecurities. Because if there is one thing I know for certain, it's that if you love the planet, you most definitely have what it takes to save it. So I'd like to close my talk by singing the first song I ever wrote, called Love Letter to Myself. And it represents the levels of integrity and authenticity I intend to uphold for myself in every moment. But it's also a call to action to each of you, to afford yourself the same courtesy of unconditional love and compassion, no matter where your journey may take you. Feel free to sing along, too. Some will find you easy, and some will find you hard on this journey through your heart. But you know who you are beneath all that flesh and bone. My darling, you are home. And I will love you when your heart is in its shell. I'll forgive you when you can't forgive yourself. And I will hold you when I'm all that you have. And I will be around if you ever need a hand. And you know who you are beneath all that flesh and bone. My darling, you are home. So rest assured, my dear, I will love, love, love. I will love, love, love. I will love, love, love. Love, love. And you're on a special journey, a path I know well. So if you ever need help, I'll be around. And we can share laughter, we can share tears. I'll meet you in the middle on our hopes and dreams and fears. And you know who you are beneath all that flesh and bone. My darling, you are home. Thank you.